Dear children, in the last class we have started with chapter number 1, the story of village Palampur. So there we have discussed the various concepts related to the factors of production, that is land, labor, physical capital and human capital. So we have discussed in detail about land, that we are following multiple cropping system and modern farming method has also been utilized. Then we have seen the introduction of Green Revolution, the positive and negative impacts of Green Revolution, then the unequal distribution of income and the unequal distribution of land in the village Palampur. So today we are going to discuss the concept related to labor. So people engaged in farming in the village Palampur can be grouped as farm laborers, small farmers and medium and large farmers. So if you see farm laborers, they are not having their own land, they are landless and they work on the lands of medium and large farmers. So they are paid wages either in cash or in kind. So sometimes the medium and large farmers, they pay wages to these farm laborers in the form of crops also, although they do not have any right over the crops grown on the land. The small farmers, they cultivate their own fields, they are having small amount of land as which they use for cultivating their own fields. Medium and large farmers, they hire laborers to work on their fields. So basically medium and large farmers, they hire the farm laborers to work on their fields. Next, the capital needed in farming. So this modern farming method requires HYB seeds, irrigation facilities are required, then fertilizers, pesticides. So these all require the large amount of capital, although we know that capital is required for meeting the working capital needs and fixed capital needs. So these small farmers, they do not have their savings, so they borrow money to arrange for the capital. So they borrow the money from the large farmers or the village money lenders, and these people charge a very high rate of interest and which actually causes distress for the small farmers. The medium and large farmers, they are having their own savings, so they are able to arrange for the capital needed for the working capital requirement and also for the fixed capital requirements. Let's take one case study dealing with one of the farmer. That Savita is a small farmer and she plans to cultivate wheat on her 1 hectare of land. But she needs cash to buy seeds, fertilizers, pesticides and also to repair her farm instruments. And approximately it will be around 3000 rupees which actually she requires. So she decided to borrow this amount of money from Tejpal Singh, one of the large farmer, and he charges a very large amount of interest, that is 24% for 4 months. So Sarita has got no option, so she works on the field of this Tejpal Singh and she is paid an amount of only 35 per day, and the government has fixed the minimum daily wage for these small farmers to be rupees 60 per day. So she is able and she is willing to work even for less amount because of the competition and then because of her requirements. So she has to work very hard on her own field and then also she works in the field of Tejpal Singh. Savita agrees to these tough conditions as she knows that getting a loan is very difficult for a small farmer. So basically in this case study, the concept of a small farmer has been discussed where she is unable to borrow money and if she wants to borrow money, she has to pay a large amount of interest on the borrowed amount. And she also needs to work on the field of Tejpal Singh. So she has got no option and she has to accept this because she requires money to actually cultivate wheat on her land and to earn her living. Next you can see the concept of sale of surplus farm products. So yes, the small farmers are having very little surplus as their production is less, but large and medium farmers, they are having large amount of surplus farm products because they are able to produce large amount of products and after their consumption needs they are left with surplus which they actually sell in the market to earn some amount of money which they actually use for their capital and also for their savings. Then the topic of non-farm activities in Palampur. So in Palampur, apart from farming, there are various non-farm activities as well, like dairy. Then we have got small scale industries, small scale manufacturing, where the people are engaged in their own home production, like of jaggery. And then we have seen some more non-farm activities like transport, which is a fast developing sector. So these are the various activities which are being taken apart from farming in the village Palampur. So let's take some of the important questions of this chapter. You can see the first question: describe any three features of small scale manufacturing as a non-farm activity in Palampur. So yes, we know that for non-farm activity in Palampur, like for small scale manufacturing, less than 50 people are engaged. Then manufacturing in Palampur involves very small and simple production methods and are done on a very small scale. Manufacturing activities are carried out mostly at home or in the fields with the help of family laborers, or sometimes laborers are hired also. Second question: how do the medium and large farmers make their own savings and how do they utilize it? So this is again a question of medium and large farmers. So we can see the medium and large farmers, they are able to have this surplus production, okay, even after keeping a substantial part for their own family needs. Because we have seen that medium and large farmers, since they are able to grow more products, so after their consumption needs they are having this surplus which they can sell in the market and they can earn good amount of money. So they utilize these savings either by lending to small farmers, just now we have seen in the case study also, or they are using it for their own working capital requirement, or as fixed capital also for buying the fixed assets like tractors, etc. Next question: explain the distribution of workforce engaged in non-farming activities in the rural areas. Suggest some measures to increase non-farming activity. Or the other way of framing the question: explain any 4 efforts which can be made to increase non-farming production activities in the villages. So apart from farming, we have seen various non-farming activities were also there. So what can be the efforts which can be made to increase these activities? So like 25% of the total workforce is engaged in non-farming activities. So there can be measures to increase non-farming activities, like we have to see the infrastructure. The infrastructure includes building of roads, establishment of banks and improved communication. Then expansion of market, where the small scale markets and shopkeeping can be done. Then education and health, yes, education will be required for the farmers to actually move ahead with some other activities as well. And then cheap loan, if they are not having money, they will be requiring the amount of loan so that they can actually move forward with their other activities as well. So this is relating to the concept of chapter number 1, the story of village Palampur. So today you have learned the concept of labor, the 3 types of labor. Then we have seen the capital requirement, then the case study dealing with the capital requirement, how the small farmer needs to borrow the money from the large farmer. And then we have also seen the non-farming activities like dairy, then small scale manufacturing, shopkeeping, transport, etc. So that's it from my side. Thank you.